Hello, hello. We are live. Hi there and welcome to this Facebook Live session on Carers Week. My name's Lowry. I'm the Welsh Manager for Eden Project Communities. This June, as part of Eden Communities, we have teamed up with loads of good causes across the UK for the month of community. This is basically a chance to celebrate and thank our communities all month long. So we kicked off last week by saying cheers to volunteers during Volunteers Week. We got to know each other better last weekend during the big lunch. And this week we are celebrating our unpaid carers during Carers Week. This year, Carers Week's theme is to make sure that unpaid carers are valued and visible. Credu is an organisation based in Powys, Mid Wales, and they have we've been working with them, and they've supported us to bring this call to you. So big thank you to them. But without further ado, I think it's time to introduce some of our guests today. So we've got 5 guests in all, but we will start off by bringing in Mandy and Emily, which I need to do the magic buttons of inviting you in. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Emily. Thanks for joining us today. So, yes, you are both here because you are amazing unpaid carers. You've got that in common, but like life is very different for all of us. So I would just like to know a little bit more about yourselves. So feel free to introduce yourselves, tell us a bit about you and your day-to-day life, I guess. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first then, Emily. So I'm Mandy. I'm a parent carer of a very complex little girl. And I just want to put, we do love our life. I think sometimes we forget to say that in the challenge of day-to-day life. I love my family. It can be extremely challenging, hour to hour, minute to minute, day to day on some days. We have to do a lot of medical things with our daughter. We have a little boy as well. So my daughter is 5, my little boy is 3. We've got I've got an older son in his 20s now, and just juggle everything can be extremely challenging, but it's extremely rewarding as well. I mean, I wouldn't be doing all these amazing things if I hadn't got my daughter. I would love to take some of the not nice things away. But unfortunately, life's just a bit like that. But, when we just deal with it day to day and so that's a bit about us.
Yeah. Great. Emily, that's about yourself.
Yes. So I'm Emily. I'm a young carer and I used to care for my mum. But after she died, I care for my younger brother with autism now. So it's a bit of a change from caring for my mum, but it's something that I enjoy doing, and although it can be a challenge, it's something that is very rewarding, really, and that is also very important to note how rewarding caring is.
Yeah, brilliant. So tell us a bit about what's your day-to-day life like, Emily? So I'm assuming you're still in school and you're having to do sort of caring around your school routine.
Yes. So I'm in full-time education at the moment, so I don't have a lot of free time, but when I do, I look after my brother from when I get in and make tea and do all the different jobs and the different things to do. And I also enjoy watching TV and just having a normal life for a young person, really, as much as I can manage. That's what I like to do.
Brilliant. And how about you, Mandy? What's your day-to-day life look like?
A lot of our life, I feel we can't change, and it's extremely hard. So my respite for me personally is my job, and I'm working for Credu at the moment. And I just love to give back. Like I said, there's lots I can't change in my life. We're very busy from 6 in the morning. Through the night and in the morning, we're for the 3 hours before my daughter goes to school. It's constant with a lot of the things that she does. I've also got a toddler as well, so he's fills up the rest of the day at the moment because we haven't got a childminder at the moment. We're sort of in the process of just sort of transfer into somebody else. So it's really challenging trying to navigate having a disabled daughter, but also trying to make time for yourself and obviously the rest of your family as well, and trying to look at the family as a whole. None of us is perfect, but we're all out there just sort of, just doing the best we can, really. So then my daughter will come home from school, and again, I enjoy my job. I love my job. My job's really great at supporting me as a carer and making it as flexible as they can for me, really. So I got to say, I do really enjoy my job. It really gives me respite, and I feel I can make a difference.
Brilliant. Oh, that's really good to hear. I just interesting because the way you guys are talking, has the kind of pandemic affected how, well, the pandemic's affected everybody, obviously, but has it affected how kind of day to day, how you can get respite and that sort of support that you would have had previously?
For me, it's a bit like welcome to my world. I don't know what you feel, Emily, but I kind of feel we felt that isolation and having, for me personally anyway, having to stay in. A lot of our support wasn't able to come and support us because, for one thing, we didn't feel safe having people in the house, but also with the restrictions and everything else. So we were quite cocooned with the restrictions, really. And I do think it had quite an effect on of mental health and well-being of all of the family, really. And I think it's only now, I think the last couple of months have been extremely difficult, even though we're coming out of the pandemic. It's sort of like catching up with all of the, one thing on top of another thing on top of another thing. There's nowhere you could have, I can't really take my son anywhere. We were limited where we could take my daughter because of her mobility issues. So it's, in some ways, it was really helpful in linking online. And broke down some of them lonely barriers, and it created a lot of opportunity online, but it also I think it took away a lot as well, and respite and support has been really, really hard.
Yeah, have you found the same, Emily, or is it?
Yes, I find it to be about the same, really, but for me, with having the school online, meant that I'm at home all the time when otherwise I would be at school and seeing my friends to get some respite. So with being at home, I've had to help my brother with his schoolwork which is distracting in itself from doing my own, and it extended my caring role further. So yes, definitely the pandemic has had such a major impact on so many carers, unpaid carers. And young people, young carers as well, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for sharing. I think it's one of those, I think a lot of people would find it quite interesting that you both say that school and work are your respites, because it is that sort of time away where it's your time for yourself. So lots of people would be like, oh, school's the hard work, but actually you guys have other things going on. So this week is Carer Week, and it's all about kind of valuing the work that you do as unpaid carers. So I was just going to ask, sort of, why do you think it's important that we tell everyone how important carers are? Like, why are carers so important? Like, just give us a bit of an insight into that.
Well, to me, it's important that unpaid carers are recognised, because in a lot of cases we go unnoticed because we don't like to shout. We like to get on and we like to keep doing what we're doing, but we like to get the support and we like to spread the message and raise awareness of unpaid carers. So this is why it's important for us to be able to do calls like this and different meetings and speeches to get our stories out there and get our voices out there, so that unpaid carers who may be unaware that they even are one are able to get the support that is available to them.
Yeah, I think I read something this week that said there was, is it estimated like 6 million people across the UK would be classified as an unpaid carer. Mandy, did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, it's just so Emily touched on so many points there. It is so hidden, and it's not about, like, it is unpaid. I mean, just to give you some perspective on what I got a job and I got a break. I had half an hour break. I didn't get paid for the break, but I had a break. I can assure you on my caring role that doesn't really happen. Breaks like that don't happen. And you just think, why wouldn't anyone want to work? You have a break at the middle of the day. And that was like one of my first experiences with Credu, you just sort of think, well, I don't stop all day. It's often 24 hours a day. And I just, just to get no one can know anyone else's lives. And that's why this is really good, just to shine a light on these things. And, at the end of the day, these carers are often unrecognised, unpaid. Not that it's about the money, but then you don't get the breaks and all of the other things that someone that is paid that would get. You wouldn't expect someone to work 24 hours a day, for instance. Yet a lot of carers often have to do that in some of their carer roles, and of course they do it because they love their loved ones. And it's just really, it's just to try and level the playing field and just make carers feel valued in the roles that they do, because I can assure you they've got some amazing skills. I didn't realise the amazing skills that I had until I worked with Credu, and they reflected all of the things that I could do that I didn't see value in, like the coordination and the working and all the different roles that you have to do as a carer. I didn't see the value in that because it wasn't paid. Yet it is an amazing job that carers do that really is hidden, and it's just really nice to shine a light on all the amazing skills that they have.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure somebody out there has done some maths at some point of you said it's not about the money, it's not about the pay. I'm sure I'd love to see the amount of money it would cost to actually pay unpaid carers would be fantastic. But I've just had a question from Margaret come through on the Facebook comments. She was just asking, how do you create downtime as a carer, but also as the family unit? Is that the golden question, the $1 million question?
That's something we strive to work towards, is trying to get a balance. Very often we go into crisis mode. I call it crisis mode because it's a mode that you're in when something happens and that one person needs the support. The rest of the time, I really like to try and think about supporting my family as a whole, making sure that my eldest son, for instance, that doesn't live with us, is part of some of the things we do. It is really hard. It's really hard because often you have to have someone supporting you're cared for, so you can just do the normal day-to-day things in your family. So yeah, it is really difficult, but that is something that even if you can get the little glimpses of hope. I managed to get away on holiday, which is quite a big thing for us. I managed to get support in place so that my mum could look after my daughter. So then it created magic moments with my son and my partner spending quality time together, and us to, as much as we can, interact as a family. So yeah, it is really difficult, but that's one thing that it's a really great question, and that is something I strive to try and bring the balance as much as I can, really.
Brilliant. Great, thank you. I will pop you backstage now, and I will invite our other guests, because we had so many people who wanted to join us today, and then I will bring you back in a moment, guys. So I'll pop you back there, and I will see you in a moment. And now I will introduce our other guests. We've got Owen, Mariana, and Christine joining us. So with you guys, great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. You guys are all based in Ystrad and Lais in South Wales, and all know each other. So if you could all, just start by introducing yourselves, tell us a bit about yourselves, and we can talk about your group as well. Who wants to go first?
I will. I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, Marianne, go.
Yeah, we've been all together all week this week because it's a raising awareness, carers week this week. So we've been out and about on the bandwagon all week doing something or other. On Tuesday, we had the Lord Sheriff come down, and on Tuesday it was fine. So he went and he spoke to everybody. People were sitting outside in the sun on the tables and chairs having their lunch and what have you. So he came down and he's raised the profile, and he's helped us to get through to lots of people. And our literature has gone out to them saying what we do. And we've had a lot of people joining and filling in the form and saying, yes, I am a carer. And they have signed the form. So what we want with that is, when we were going to the Welsh office to ask for something, we weren't able to get it because we would say, Credu would say, or carers would say, oh, we have X amount of carers in Wales, and they say, no, you haven't, because they hadn't signed the form.
So they weren't being
We
recognised.
have thousands and thousands and thousands of carers. If you think about it, where there's an illness, there's usually a carer. There's going to be a carer. 99.9% of the time, there's a carer somewhere.
Yeah,
Even
you were
if they're
telling us.
living away. Oh, yes, there's a carer somewhere. So
You were telling me just before the call started, Mariana, that you bumped into people and they hadn't recognised that they were even a carer themselves.
That's right. Yes.
My wife. Or
yeah, we had a table. A Tesco are good to us every year. They allow us a table there, and we have all our literature out. But we've got blue wigs as well. You see. So we wear the blue wig, we attract attention, and we have a huge board. The Credu board goes up, and people come and talk to us, and then all of us are well versed in explaining to people. We had one man saying, "You wanted to put money in a box," and oh no, he wasn't a carer. He didn't want to fill a form in. And I said, say something about his wife. And I said, oh, what you have to do for your wife? She know well. She knows her well. And he has to bath her. He has to feed her. He has to inject her. I said, well, you're a carer. Am I? Oh, could you fill a form in? Yeah, you fill the form in. But it's the fact that people do. They're like I used to be. They don't see themselves as having a role in life. I'm a carer. Because they've been doing this, it comes automatically to you. When someone in your family becomes ill, you start looking after them. Then you have to take them to the hospital and blah, 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 and on you go. But you're a carer and you don't know you're a carer. And this is what we want to do, is to reach out into the world for people to see what we are doing, all the things that we do. Now, I'm 80 and I care for my daughter who has autism. Andrea's got autism. She has cerebral palsy, and then she has learning difficulties. Now, I've had to fight for everything Andrea's had. She was born in 1968. In 1970, she didn't speak, you see, till she was 8. So in 1970, she could have claimed money. And from 1970 to when she was 48 years old, so that's 46 years, she didn't get any benefits whatsoever because the medical authorities refused to admit there was anything wrong. She couldn't even speak. She was called dummy in school. She was called a dunce by the headmistress and put into the corner. She's had a hard time. Yeah. A very, very hard time. And when we moved house, then the children in the new neighborhood, they were calling her dummy, 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 until her brother went up there and sorted them all out. And that calmed everybody down. Everything she's had, she always were reluctant to say that she had anything. Because the minute they do say it, they have to put a service in place. So they refused to give her speech therapy. She was 8 years old before she spoke a word, and Powys. I moved out of county into West Glamorgan. In the second week she was in school, she had speech therapy. She was going every Tuesday. I had to fight for it. So after a while, we moved back to Powys. So she kept on going to Orchard Street in Swansea. And I was summoned to the school to speak to the hierarchy. And the man who was speaking to me was talking down to me. And I thought, oh, no, you're not. No, this isn't going on. He didn't want her to have speech therapy. He didn't believe she needed it. And my answer to that was, listen now, good boy, I'm afraid. You do not put a plaster cast on a leg that's not broken. And I put the phone down on him. And the headmistress went, oh, how dare I speak to him like that? Well, I did, and I have dared and dared and dared since. And I have fought for every mortal thing she's had. And it's been a long fight. It has been a long fight. Life is terrible sometimes. You know, if you can go down to the bottom of the barrel because of issues and people that not only her I care for, and issues, there's only one place to go from that dark black hole that I call it. There's only one place to go. And that's back up. And you come back up, and you come back, and you're fighting, and you have to fight. And the best thing that ever happened to me was that Credu happened.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't Credu when I joined. It wasn't Credu. No, it wasn't Credu then. You see, it was Carers Wales.
Brilliant. Thank you so much
So-
for sharing that, Juliana. I think it's very telling that, like, you had to fight for everything for your daughter, but actually there's still a fight happening, isn't there, to get recognition for carers as well, and to get,
But
you know,
it's for people out there to know, the people out there to know you can get there. Don't take a no for an answer. Come to
Good
Credu.
message.
Credu will show you the way. They'll signpost everything for you. It's a
Oh,
family where we join together. We talk about each other's problems. And those
talking
problems
about-
are a lot lighter. They're a lot lighter for get it off your chest. And maybe I can help, Owen can help me, and all the rest of it. You know, I'm not going to hog this now because time is getting on, and
yeah, well, talking of a family, you guys have really connected and got to know each other, haven't you? And you have been supporting each other for a while. Owen, can you tell us a bit about, you know, your group and how you support each other, and a bit about yourself?
Right.
Thank you, Mary.
Hello, my name's Owen. I've been a carer for a long, long time. Didn't realise I was a carer till 2004 when I was told that I was a carer. But I've been caring through my life since about the age of 12 and didn't realise it. That's a long time.
Yeah.
But I've gained a lot of life skills during that period. But us as a group, when I joined Credu then, it has grown and grown. And we are a family, and we do get out together, and we do share our experiences, and we support each other. And we've got a network now that if we have a problem, we just got somebody to phone, and we know whom to turn to, because we've all got different skill sets, which we've learned through our caring roles. And we're all experts. We don't realize it, but we're all experts. What we are lacking is recognition by the authorities. But I was very fortunate a year ago, during Carers Week, and I joined an online Zoom meeting with Carers UK, because I'm also a member of Carers Wales and Carers UK. And the CEO of Carers UK was asking some questions about caring role and COVID. And I said about the NHS getting support by clapping for the heroes. So I asked, why aren't we recognised as unpaid carers and the role that we play in society in supporting our loved ones and taking a lot of pressure off the services? And Matt Hancock has always been praising the NHS. The CEO said, I'm going to Westminster. Would you like me to give him your views? Go ahead. 6 o'clock news, when we were on the news there, well, Matt Hancock was, and he was saying about, we must not forget that we have also a lot of unpaid carers out there, as long as the NHS, so we should be clapping for them. So I thought, wow, that's the power of Zoom and being in the right place at the right time to get that recognition. And I just feel honoured that we had that recognition at such that high level, which is the starting point. During COVID, we have found within Powers here that there's been a lot more carers that have been crying for help, because once all the statutory bodies had to withdraw their services, there was massive voids. And some of the carers that hadn't been registered or hadn't had the full impact of caring, because they were employed, and when they worked, they had that full impact of the services that have been taken away, especially the young children with special needs and things like that, and then the older parents that were going for the day centres, because those facilities, day centre wise, no matter what people's abilities were, was withdrawn. And so Credu had to step in and try and support. We didn't have all the facilities, obviously, but what we did have is telephone and Zoom. So we were able to join people up at group meetings, and also lots of friendships materialized from that people were in the same village and didn't even know they were cared for with similar conditions. So after the online meetings, they were swapping phone numbers in the chat securely, and then being able to ring each other and support. So our network of knowledge and experience has actually grown, and now we have grown again, because this being Carers Week, we have certainly hit our village with our image and trying to get recognition. No laughing, please. But this has certainly drawn attention, and we've all had these. And it just.
Do you know what, Owen? Someone's actually put a Facebook comment saying that they couldn't have missed the wigs, so they've obviously seen you, which is brilliant.
I'm going to take it off now. But it's just getting people aware, and it has attracted attention. And people have actually come forward, spoken to us. And as Mariona was saying, they don't realise that they are carers in the first instance. And we've introduced ourselves to them, that they can have an awful lot of support. So we've given them information booklets, and just hope that they will join us, and we'll be able to support them as peer-to-peer. And if there are other situations that they need support with, then we go to Credu directly to our outreach workers, where they will be able to guide them to the right people to get that support. So brilliant. I think that Carers Week this week for us has gone very well, but we still need to keep that recognition in the community, and I hope it is going to actually grow. And to emphasise to those carers, if they feel that they're unrecognised, because I've met quite a few even today, that you have to value yourself, because you're doing an absolutely wonderful job, and you are the best qualified person to look after your loved ones.
That's a great message. I think that's definitely something that people need to recognise in themselves. And it does sound like Credu has been an amazing support for all of you. So that's brilliant to hear. Christine, don't want to leave you out of this today. So can you tell us about yourself? And are you quite a new, have you not long joined the group?
I came into the group when it was quite critical that during COVID, I couldn't cope. So they were there for me, because everything stopped for us. We're rural. We've got no support. If you ring somebody, they just give you a number to ring back, and they don't answer the phone. Social services hardly ever rung during the 2 years nearly, and neither did the memory clinic. I've got to write it down because I'll forget to say it otherwise. So when I was getting into trouble with, because I look after my husband who's got vascular dementia mixed, he goes 2 days a week to daycare, and that completely stopped. No, just stopped. No more contact from them whatsoever. To this day, have I had a message from them? How is it? Nothing. And then there's another one, that Canolvan, that's completely not restarted yet for others like myself. And I've got to say, with Mariona and everything, she's marvellous with pointing you to the right direction. And they're the ones that stepped in during COVID when everybody else stepped back. And I'm just pleased that they were here. And even though they can't give us everything, they'll point us in the right direction to go, but I'm just saying that these daycares, respite and clinics need to reopen so that everybody, because we're 2 years nearly on now with this COVID, and they're blaming COVID for not opening, and I think that is just disgusting. They're using it as I don't know. I don't even know what to say, really. It's just that I'm in rural. I've got no family in here. We're English. I'm English. Our kids are down in Hampshire. So they weren't able to come up here. We weren't able to go there. So I had no support whatsoever until DMIP is the one I've been keeping in contact. And then there's another, I think there's Popple. They helped with the shopping during COVID. But as I'm saying, this NHS stuff, they just need to open, and the powers need to open the day centres for all.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Mariana agrees.
I am on my platform with that. I brought that up years ago. We've got suicides. I mean, they're serious. We've got suicides here. People who could have been in there. You have to jump through hoops to get into there today, practically on your deathbed, just to get a place there. And when you do get in, they don't have occupations in there that they used to have. You could have a bath, you could have your hair done, you could do craft and knitting, there was dancing, there was bingo, there were trips they were arranging. My mother was 97 and she was going before she died, and they were organising trips to Blackpool for weekends because Mum would collect the money every week. I'd be taking her up every Friday to the coach company to take the money in. They had things to look forward to. What have they got now? They're not even going there. Why are they taking it away? The centre had cooks there, and there's a kitchen there. There was everything was there. They had Sorry. Yeah, I know. I used to sing, and I remember going there with a choir, and I used to sing on my own. They were having people in to entertain. They had a life. They had a bus to take them there if they couldn't go. It's all been taken away. Britain is one of the richest countries in the world. So do not tell me that they can't do this. These people have worked all their lives. They've paid their taxes. And what do they get? A kick in the teeth. I am on my platform. I'm very passionate about this. I really am. There's a meeting coming on with us next week on Zoom. We're forever on meetings, aren't we, Owen? We're always on meetings. My husband is saying, I never see you these days. I think he's glad he can watch what he wants. But still, these are serious issues, but we do try and have a laugh.
Yeah,
you have to have a laugh. Sometime or other, you have to have a laugh. But
that leads me into my next question, and I'll bring Mandy and Emily back into that, because actually,
I'm a carer. I have to take a child of mine now to the hospital for an appointment, so I have to leave you. I'm awfully sorry.
No, that's fine.
The carer's life is typical.
Thank you for joining us. Well, I was just going to say, so we, what Mariana was just saying, we're all about, like, at Eden Communities, we're about connecting communities, celebrating each other. So it's kind of, my question is kind of, what do we think that we can do better to support you as carers in our community? Is it about community centres, or is it about lobbying, or is it actually more about, what an individual can do with kindness and neighbourliness? Is there any suggestions? Because someone's got some background noise. Sounds like someone's got a Hoover on. But yeah, so basically, what are your thoughts on how individuals within a community can help you and be there for you more so?
I like what was said about the community hubs, to be fair. Sorry, Owen. And bringing people together, but also we find extremely challenging, I don't know about you guys, is having places that's accessible. What we find is, and through nobody's fault, you only know what you can know, so I just want to put it out there, but when things are made disabled, often it's a certain way, and often it's not accessible for us and our family. And so it just would be nice to be part of some of the things when they're made to make them accessible as possible. But like I said, you only know what you know. So creating these spaces where they can be as accessible as possible. And I think communities are amazing, to be fair. I think community spirit is just amazing. And I think we've seen that in COVID. And also as a carer, I also feel that I've got to be willing to accept help and support. And that can be really difficult when you're really independent. So it's a two-way thing. And also being kind but curious with questions, because my daughter's quite disabled. It comes with a lot of curiosity, and I don't mind people asking a kind, thoughtful question. Feel free to ask, but be kind with how you do it. So that's me anyway.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, and actually knowing that's especially with what Mariana before she had to leave was saying about what her daughter put up with through the years ago. So hopefully we're in a better place, or we can be, and we can work towards that. Owen, did you want to say something about kind of how communities can support you as a carer? Or
yes, well, there's not enough time really. There's an awful lot of work to be done, but it's just getting that recognition. And also, during COVID, I think that the authorities have certainly been helping Credu that I'm aware of in whatever way that they can. Because I'm hoping now that once we come out of lockdown, that we're not going to go back to the old ways, but we're going to go forward, and people have learned from both sides of how we want to be treated, how we should be treated, and how we have a whole load of knowledge and experience. And I think authorities should actually try and tap into organisations, not only us, but there's plenty of other organisations that they could tap into to have some sort of financial support or skill training and those sorts of things. But I think the one thing above all is that care needs a break, because when you have a 24-hour, you can't carry on like that. Nobody employed works 24 hours. You know, an 8 or a 10-hour day is quite sufficient, but a carer never gets a break.
Yeah.
So we try to have some within the care Zoom meetings that we've had is to try and say, you owe yourself a break. Try and organize your day so you have half an hour or an hour even, which is a luxury, break time, and try not to have anything else to interfere with it. And just that hour's break is actually recharging a person.
Yeah, it's about your well-being, isn't it? So that you're able to do caring responsibilities.
And we have within Credu a tea and chat every day for an hour. In fact, sometimes it's actually two times during the days on some days, because a morning and afternoon type of thing, and where possible. That means an awful lot of staffing, so we rely on staffing, as Mandy knows, juggling the hours around. But when people come out of it or towards the end, and how do you feel now? Oh, that was great. I forgot about everything. We've been talking about hobbies and interests, nature, and looking at nature around us and how it's changing from day to day and week to week. People have been observing that and then taking photographs and enjoying that time and sitting down with a cup of tea, looking out the window and seeing how life's changing. The birds, all the insects, the bees. You know, it's very relaxing, very mindful. Put a bit of quiet music on, things like that, or none at all. Go to a quiet room in the house if you have one, and then just take that time out. And I think just the shortest period of time, even 10 minutes break, is healing.
Great, thanks for sharing that. Right, so I'm conscious that it's we're running out of time, and we are finishing. Well, Carers Week is going on into the weekend, isn't it? But it is a Friday evening, and the weekend's coming. So I was just going to finish off by asking you all to share something that makes you smile. It can be about your caring responsibilities, or about anything that your hobbies and your likes. Just to hear what will make you smile this weekend.
Tickling my son, giving him a good tickle. That's priceless. Living and giggle.
Brilliant.
And my oldest grandson with the 2 great grandchildren are coming up tomorrow for a Barbie.
Oh, great! Getting to see people, getting to see family.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Emily, how about you?
I'm getting to see some of my extended family tomorrow for the first time in quite a while, so that would be really lovely.
Brilliant. I think there's going to be a theme of reconnection, isn't there? People reconnecting with family.
Yeah.
And yourself, Owen?
And me the same, because I'll be, well, initially in the morning, I'm going to go and see my 2 grandchildren who live locally. On Sunday, I'll be meeting up with my grandson, with his family, who's living in Thailand, courtesy of Zoom. So that'll be good. But my time on the rest of Saturday, if I do get any time left on Saturday, will be I'm going to treat myself to go fishing. Is one of my hobbies.
Oh, brilliant!
After a very busy week.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say what? Yeah. Before you go, can I just say one? Is the real aim for it is to get my husband back into daycare, so he's got some social interaction. This is why I'm taking him out to meet as many people recently because he's lost his speech and he needs that talking to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that can happen soon for you and for him.
Christine's husband came out to us today, and I think that he enjoyed himself. We all had some conversations with him. He did respond in his manner.
Brilliant.
Which he smiled and he felt good about it because he's meeting new people.
Yeah,
although we did see him last week as well, Chris.
Yeah,
But,
he's got to keep going out and got to get back to daycare. Yeah, to meet the interaction. Otherwise, we'd just lose him.
Yeah.
I haven't explained my position, but at the moment my wife is in hospital. She has multiple medical conditions and she's had COVID, but she's getting better now.
Yeah.
And I was just speaking to the Red Cross when I went to the hospital to take her stuff in, and hoping that they will be able to befriend her in hospital, because normally the Red Cross go out to people who haven't been able to, and they don't think that they'll be able to go onto the ward, but they can use Zoom to the ward and do it that way. So it will be some sort of social interaction to another person other than myself and the nurses. So I am hopeful of that. So I put the irons. If you don't ask, you don't get, and you've got to push.
No. But does she recognise Zoom? Does she recognise Zoom?
Yes.
That's where Dave doesn't see. Dave don't recognise Zoom.
I do appreciate that. So that is why the face-to-face is important.
It's good.
Because during COVID, although we've been doing a lot of online meetings, initially I said, well, what about all these people that living in rural Wales and the county that we are sparsely populated? No Zoom, poor internet connection at best, or none, and landline only, because there's no internet, the mobile phones. So I've been doing telephone support to people, like befriending people, and they do appreciate that. And some are young and some are old. But
I think I think it's quite clear, isn't it, that we're all looking forward to things opening back up again and being able to the support lines that are there and that are so valuable for you and your family members. Unfortunately, I've loved speaking to you all. Thank you so much for sharing. Unfortunately, we are running out of time and we're going to finish up now. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with everybody.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Have a great weekend and a brilliant rest of Carers Week. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.